Let's give Adam a round of applause. So I'm glad that you guys all came out tonight. I was nervous that there wouldn't be anybody here. The truth is that I'm actually very insecure. I'm a very insecure person, very nervous. I'm actually a neurotic Jew. That's what I am. I look at myself in the mirror. I'm not very proud of what I see. I think I'm short and I'm fat and I'm ugly and I've got that Jewish curse. My nose is the longest thing on my body. I just wish that there was a potion, if there was something that I could drink, something that would cure me of all my neuroses and insecurity, something that I could take that would make me taller, slimmer, sexier. And then it occurred to me, vodka. Booze gives me superpowers. It makes me feel like Spider-Man, Superman, the Incredible Hulk, all rolled into one. I am Vodka Man. Really, all I do is pee on the couch and hit on your mom. It's pathetic. I mentioned that I was Jewish. We're Jewish. We're a Jewish family. Well, we're not really Jewish. We're actually atheist Jews. What that means is that we're Jews, but we know that we're wrong. My mom, when we were growing up, my mom would be doing the dishes or working around the house, and she'd say, religion is the opiate of the masses. It's just for fools and children. Now get dressed, we're going to temple. Actually, what we really are is we are two-block Jews, is what we really are. In my sect of Judaism, you can't drive a car on Saturday. You can't drive to temple. You're supposed to walk, and the temple was 3 miles from our house. So every Saturday morning, you'd see all the good Jews. They'd all be walking 3 miles to temple. They were 3-mile Jews. We would drive around the corner. We'd park the car, get out, make ourselves look tired. Walk the last 2 blocks. Because we are 2-block Jews. So I'm married a long time. My wife and I have been married now for 17 years. 17 years married, and they say that when you're with somebody, the longer you're with them, the more you fall in love with them every day, and it's true. I fall in love with my wife more and more every single day. That first blowjob was pretty amazing. Hey! I think she sucked the diamond right out of me. We're getting older. We're getting older. I'm getting older. I'm at that magical age now where I need a little help in the bedroom. So I got some Viagra, and I read the side effects, and they're very strange. But one of them says that if you take Viagra, you might get loss of hearing and loss of vision. And if that happens, obviously, you should stop taking it immediately and call a doctor, which made no sense to me at all. Because if I couldn't see her or hear a nag, I might not need the fucking pill in the first place. You're laughing, she's here. I won't be in the big bed tonight. I'll leave the Viagra in my pocket. So we saw the movie Blood Diamond. Has anybody ever seen the movie Blood Diamond? That's a great movie, isn't it? Great movie. I love that movie. Great storyline. Actually tragic. I mean, all the murder and the mayhem and the torture that goes into getting those diamonds out of the ground in war-torn Africa. It's horrendous what those people go through. My wife said it disturbed her so much that after seeing that movie, she didn't want any more diamonds. So now I make her watch the movie every year right before our anniversary. I'm actually looking for a movie about the making of Coach handbags and Prada shoes. Oh boy. So You guys use those emojis ever? Use those emojis on your cell phone?
Yeah.
I'm not much of an emoji guy.
No.
I like the little round yellow guy with the sunglasses. I think he's pretty cool. I like him. I like him a bunch. There are rows and rows and rows of those things. Every single possible emotion you could ever think of. Definitely made by a woman. Because guys, we have 3 emotions, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm hungry, I'm tired, and if I'm awake, I'm horny.
Yeah.
That's about all I have. And my wife, if you ever watch your wife or girlfriend talking to her girlfriends, her friends? I watch my wife talk to her friends, and they do something, guys, that I never ever do with my friends, ever. They talk. They talk about everything. They talk about people and girls and guys and all in great detail. They talk about sex, and they're not nice. Right? They're not nice. Oh, I hate her. Oh, she doesn't even know how to marry. Oh, she laughs like a horse. Slut. Right? Slut. Me and my friends, we don't talk at all. If I want something and you have it, I grunt. I go, right? If I see something I'm interested in, I go, If I see a girl that I like, right? I tell my buddy, I go, hey, right? We don't talk at all. Women talk to their friends. Guys don't talk to their friends at all. I was eavesdropping on my wife, right? My wife was talking to some of her friends, and I was eavesdropping, and one of the girls said to the other girls in the group, she said, I'm not a lesbian. But I fooled around with a girl once. Now guys, I know it's a double standard, but I think that's beautiful. But it is a double standard, isn't it? Because guys would never say that to their friends, would they? I mean, let's face it, right? Seriously, you build a bridge. Nobody calls you a bridge builder. You suck one cock.
What?
For life.
What?
For life. Pot's legal. Pot is, in some states now, pot is legal. That was not easy to get done. The people that are against marijuana being legal, they're worried about the kids. They want to keep kids off of drugs. They think that it is a gateway drug, and they're very passionate about that. And the people that want marijuana to be legal, well, they get stoned and forget to vote. You know who's got this figured out is the Girl Scouts. The Girl Scouts have this figured out. This is true. In some states, like in Washington State, what they're actually doing is the Girl Scouts are hanging out in front of pot dispensaries. True story, selling Girl Scout cookies. This is a true story. You can almost picture the Girl Scouts, can't you? You can almost picture them. Some guy comes walking out of the dispensary and, excuse me, sir. Sorry. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. What kind of pot did you buy? I always find that the Savannah Smiles go best with the OG Kush. And the Thin Mints, those are best with the skunk bud. That's right, I'm working on my half-baked ganja cookie batch. Of course, I always turn to her and say, little girl, that's no use to me, for I am Vodka Man.
Interesting also to note, there may or may not be language tonight. Should have warned you about that. I let the students write however they wished, and I did kind of hold them back a little bit, but for the most part, you may or may not hear language that you hear every day in your life. So, thank you. Good job, Sheldon. All right, next performer, William Ortman, everybody. Give him a round of applause. Like, whoa.
There's a lot of people here tonight. What's up, everybody? So, I'm wearing a red shirt, so if you plan on throwing tomatoes, I'm ready. I wanted to start with a simple one-liner joke, see how you guys were, how the humor was going tonight. What's wet and smells like fish? A whale's vagina. That one's a thinker? Or is it a stinker? So, I'd like to tell you guys a little about myself. I like to watch the news. And anybody else here watch Fox 5?
Yes!
Yeah. I love the chief meteorologist, Ted Pretty. Ted is just so good at the weather. But they aired an interesting story this morning. I don't know if any of you caught it. Apparently, the Metro Police caught somebody beating a cow to death with a bobblehead. Yes, the police were actually willing to admit that it was the year's first case of knick-knack paddywhack.
Hit.
Anyway, let's see, what else? People tell me I look a little bit like a stoner. And they tell me, Will, you're too relaxed. Your ideas are too weird. It's like, what, really? My best qualities make me a stoner? But I know the beanie and the little beard part of it. Yes, I do call it a beard. It's not one of those big full beards, one of those big full Brokeback Mountain man beards. But it does beard stuff, you know. Like right before class, I was checking my appearance in the old front camera of my phone, and there was a little bit of Taco Bell in my beard. And it was like, what the heck? I didn't eat Taco Bell for breakfast. But yeah, the stoner thing, apparently it's widespread. Even my friends think I'm high all the time. I was actually driving us the other day to this indoor kart racing place. It's the pole position. It was cool, but so I drove into the parking lot and I turned the wheel, and so we went right toward the wall of the building, and I said, like, whoa, it's a wall. And they all looked at me, and chick in the back of the car screamed, Will, you serious? And then I reversed into the parking spot. But some people are, they're envious of the stoner look, actually. Like who, you ask? Well, guys that look like pedophiles. Duh. But some people are just horrified. I used to work at a hospital as a phlebotomist. That's the person that you reluctantly let draw your blood. And in my case, it was reluctantly, it was a euphemism. People would start muttering to themselves in the chair. They'd be like, who's the stoner with the needle? When's the phlebotomist getting here? I miss mean Filipino lady. But yeah, it was cool. I worked in the hospital, and you hear some interesting things in there. The pharmacy reps would come in every couple of weeks, and they'd sit with the doctors, and they'd recommend new pills and stuff. And their descriptions of their products were pretty much all the same. They usually went something like this. So this pill is going to make your patient's farts smell just like a whale's vagina. but there are some negative side effects. Yeah, I think there's too many pills out, too many pills around. I'm more of a fan of natural ways of healing yourself and making yourself better. Have any of you heard of these new brain training games?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, some people. So apparently you play these games and they help you remember things better and they make you quicker. Well, I was trying out one of these games when my dad walked in my room. You could say he caught me playing with my noodle. He says to me, "Willie, damn it, I was hoping to catch you getting high or something." So I had to take a dump earlier. Yeah. There's actually a whole etiquette when you go into the men's room. For example, there's this one urinal that's like 2 feet lower than all the other urinals. That urinal, everyone knows, is called the little boy toilet. And any man caught urinating in that toilet is a little boy. There's other rules, such as if there's a guy in this urinal, you have to be exactly one urinal over a different urinal in order for everything to be copacetic. And the rules are a little different if you know the other person in the restroom. You need to be in urinals on the opposite side of the room and no eye contact. One other thing, okay, so let's say if there's 5 urinals, right? And a guy comes in and he stands at the second urinal. Well, that only makes one more available urinal for someone to use. That guy is a dick. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. Okay, so how many stoners does it take to screw in a light bulb? How many? It takes 2 to choose what television channel to put on. And usually 1 to make the nachos. Thank you very much.
William Morgan, all right, well, let's keep it going. Matthew Binnard, everybody.
Matthew!
Well, hello. Hi. I'm gonna be honest, I did not think anybody was coming. I probably should have prepared something. Okay. I've been here in Vegas for a couple of years now. It's been pretty nice. It's a weird town, but it's okay to get used to. I'm from Reno, so it's really a lot like being home, just, classier. People wear socks and pants, and they aren't on meth. But it's getting hot. You can tell that Vegas summer's coming around. You guys excited for summer? Yeah, woo! Yeah, I know I'm excited for summer. Man, I am just so tired of pretending to be a student. That guy right there is looking at me like, how does one pretend to be a student? Well, understand this. I am talking to you right now. This is my final for a stand-up comedy class in community college. That should probably tell you how dedicated I am to my education. Seriously, it's the truth. I have not written an essay in 6 years. 6 years. Oh, I did go to a proper real university for 4 years. That was rough. I got to watch all my friends graduate, get degrees, have a job, in the future. I got $60,000 in debt and stress-induced depression. It's just, stay in school, kids, woo! Yeah, depression, it sucks, man, but you get over it. I guess that's the fun part about being bipolar, it's the variety. I got some of you laughing, I got some of you sitting back there like, is he gonna pull a Columbine right now? Seriously, when you talk about it, that's all you get. You either get like, incredibly dangerous, or people think I'm like doing it for attention, like I'm some white girl complaining about her Starbucks addiction. No, lady, you have a caffeine problem, not a mental disorder. But it's really not that big a deal. Like When I'm depressed, I spend most of my time at home, asleep, watching Netflix, that kind of thing. And when I'm manic, I'm out of town, getting drunk and making bad choices. So that pretty much puts me on a level with every other college student, so it's pretty much okay. Yeah, I don't know, it's the little things in life that, that really cause the problems. I don't have a ladder. I know it seems weird, but my kitchen has these vaulted ceilings, and up on them we have these big, long fluorescent lights. The big ones, they hum and they hiss, and they've started going out, so I flick it on, and they're flittering around and making a noise, just this like something trying to break their way into our world. So now I got a demon living in my kitchen, and you don't want Satan over your shoulder deciding on your food choices for you. So I figured there's only one way to get along with my life, because I'm not buying a ladder, I refuse. So I went out and I hired myself an exorcist, which it's great. I don't have any more demons in my kitchen, but now I have to deal with him every time I go in there. I'm just walking in to make some toast, he's back there, the power of Christ compels you, the power of Christ compels you. It's just, yeah, I know, but Hail Zenu, all that, just pass the butter, will you? Vegas it's an interesting town. Like I said, stuff happens here that could not happen anywhere else. It's very different. I used to come here a lot as a kid. As an adult, it's very different. When you're a child, Las Vegas is it's like reverse Disneyland. The kids have to sit down on the park bench while the adults are off riding the Matterhorn. And just, yeah, okay, Dad, you tire yourself out. Let's get home soon. Except in this case, the park bench is a seat at a slot machine, and the Matterhorn is some stripper dressed as a cat named Brandy. I did have a proper Las Vegas experience. Back in college, not here, real college, I had this. Back when I was actually caring about my education, I had this roommate, my best friend named Jimmy Dix. And Jimmy's a great guy. He was somewhere between an artsy-fartsy kind of guy and a preppy douchebag. So his artsy side would have him coming up with little jingles, doing everything he does, just coming up with a little song. And then his douchebag side would have him make all those songs about his penis. I kid you not. I came down one day, I'm just sitting there eating my cereal, trying to enjoy some breakfast, and he kicks his door open, just saunters downstairs, singing this song in these exact words, just, my dick's too big cause I'm better than you. I said, my dick's too big cause I'm better than you. I said, my dick's too big cause I'm better than you. I'm just frozen cereal halfway to my mouth, what the hell are you doing? And just me, Vegas, it's happening. I was the youngest of my group of friends, so they all decided that we're gonna have a big Vegas hangover adventure. It was awful. It was awful. That whole weekend was just a blur of neon signs and liver pain. It's just, I'm sure I had fun, but I don't really remember much of it. There is one part I remember pretty clearly. It was the time that Pimp just burst his way into our hotel room. I'll explain. So all the girls had gone off, and we were staying at the Excalibur or the Camelot, one of those castles. I don't remember. But the girls were off at the pool, and the guys stayed behind to the guys, we stayed behind to eat some sandwiches, And so we're kind of hanging out in the room, dragging away, trying to put our flip-flops on, and the door is wide open, and a couple of blonde bouncing bimbos walk by. Yeah. Now I'm from Reno, so we have this game called Spot the Prostitute. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo of Ladies of the Evening. And so I see these girls walk by with a clearly oh yeah, it's for sale, but you can't afford it kind of strut. And Jimmy just sticks his head out the window, does the full 90-degree kind of. So we're sitting there laughing at his vertical butt, and then he just yanks his head back in like a frightened turtle and slams the door closed. And we're like, what's wrong? He's like, their pimp just walked by. Yeah, sure, Jimmy, whatever, okay. And there's a rap at the door. Okay, so I step forward, I open the door, and there is just the biggest man I have ever seen, pushing 7 foot, black, just covered in bar fight fat, kind of like an Andre the Giant looking guy, at least 2 of me across from shoulder to shoulder. He has a giant, very detailed permanent tattoo of a phoenix on his chest, and his really heavily jeweled gold chains say, Bubba. So I'm standing there trying to take in this mountain of a man that just stepped in front of me, and he pushes me aside, takes 1, 2, 3 steps across the threshold. He is now in the room. There is no way we cannot deal with this problem. And you have never seen 3 white stoners panicking more than we were. Just, what's going on? And he said, hey, I saw you guys, check it out. You guys look pretty cool. You want to come hang out back at my room? With the women? I said, yeah, you guys are smoking. Why don't you come back? I have some great stuff in my room with the girls. And we are just not getting that he wants us to go back to where the prostitutes are. I'm like, oh, hey, thanks, man. You seem pretty cool, too. Yeah. Well, we have stuff here if you want to stay. And then, and he is just not willing to leave. And we're like, oh, God, just don't kill us. Finally, Bubba crosses his arms, looks down at me, and goes, I'm not taking no for an answer. And that, kids, is the story of How I Met Your Mother. All right, thank you. You guys are great. Good night.
Good. Doing good here. All right. Tyler Prophet, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler!
Yes, hello, you heard that name right. I am Tyler Prophet, and believe me, I have heard every one of those puns by the time I hit 8th grade, both religious or monetary, so I won't bore you with any of those. Although it does explain why I get along so well with my one friend whose last name is spelled J-I-U. Yeah, so recently I turned 21, and exciting, right? I mean, it's the point where you're done with your 3-year free trial of adulthood, and now you've got the real painful thing. And I know a lot of people for their 21st birthday like to, do stuff like go out, see a few friends, buy a few drinks, have a few laughs, and generally have a good time. Can't say I did all that much different. I stayed in, played a few games, had a few cries, bought lights, and generally contemplated the frailty of life. You mentioned I bought a lightsaber. Where would have you got that idea from? So yeah, now I'm a productive adult who never should have been given financial independence. But luckily for the world, my checkbook isn't the only thing that's independent. And I'm not the most social of people, so I can't say I've ever brought anyone home to meet my mother, so to speak. This is probably because any date of mine would involve meeting my mother, since she's probably the one dropping me off. Yeah, it's remarkable how well hopping out of your mother's SUV like the first day of kindergarten is at breaking the ice. Unfortunately, most of my dates usually end up with me sitting on the curb for 20 minutes waiting for my ride, like the end of the first day of kindergarten. But instead of hopes and dreams, I've got nagging loneliness and a wallet full of expired condoms.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
So, really my closest relationship is with my phone. Because, we have so much in common. We're both perpetually at low energy. We both make loud, obnoxious noises when people try to talk to me. And we're both liable to break and drop from moderate height. Being alone with a phone isn't that bad. That's what the vibrate mode's for.
Girl.
Because we can't all be reproductive adults. Oh gosh. But yeah, so the other day I was driving home and I decided to stop in and pick up something to eat at Chipotle. And apparently they have inspirational quotes all over their bags and cups. And I don't eat there much, so this was news to me. But I've realized a couple places seem to do that. It's never the high-end, 5-star kind of places that like to put inspiration on their cups and bags. No. It's always the cheap-ass fast food places that decide to put little morsels of inspiration on all their packaging. This is not very helpful for me, since most likely I'm not going to be making the declaration of, yes, today I shall turn my life around. as I am sitting in McDonald's at 2 a.m. with an empty box of McShame. Yeah, kind of beyond hope at that point. I mean, I just accepted that all my hopes died around the same time that I realized that old motherly adage of, oh, don't worry, one day all of those bullies will look up to you, was completely wrong. Coincidentally, that day also coincided with when I had to get a root canal from a guy who used to throw footballs at my head in 8th grade. Yeah, my mom always tried to be the, supportive but stern parent with this advice. My dad, on the other hand, liked to do his parenting from the schools of helpless handyman and the older sibling. Like, about 3 years ago, my parents decided that they were going to completely rip up the downstairs flooring and put in new tile. And, my mom was looking online, seeing how many hundreds of dollars it would take to have someone come in and get the job done in about a day or two. My dad decided it would be a better idea to have him do it, alone, with his complete lack of experience. But, he'd been unemployed for 3 years at this point, so it just gave him something to do. Jump to current time, where he is now 6 years without a job, and the kitchen is 3 years without a floor. Yes, and you might be wondering, well, if he's been unemployed the past 4 years, how didn't he get it done? Well, you see, he's always prided himself on his abilities of debate from high school and college, his stubbornness, and his inability to let an argument go unless he's definitively deemed himself the winner. This doesn't help that he spends the majority of his time sitting on Xbox, where he now spends the majority of his free time writing long-winded arguments with 12-year-olds who've completely forgotten that they even met him. Yes, unfortunately now I have to play parent to him, and tell him to go to bed and pull the plug when I catch him downstairs online at 2 a.m. And have wonderful conversations with him like, no, you can't take your TV and Xbox outside to play from the hot tub. Why? Well, because I said so, that's why, Dad. But yeah, thank you for your time. You don't have to worry too much about poetry, because I'll tell you one thing for sure. I'm quite good myself at turning a profit. Okay, you know what? If you want to kick my butt for that one, you can meet me in the parking lot after the show. But I warn you, you're bringing a fist to a lightsaber fight. So you'll probably win.
I had classes I got.
Tyler Profit, everybody!
Like 2 days I was in college in my acting class.
All right.
Oh, that was him?
We have a special guest
That looks like
tonight. A very special guest. Isabella, do you want to come and tell your joke? Okay. Isabella is 5 years old and she wants to tell a joke.
Oh, this better be
Isabella. I said Isabella, but it's Isabella. I lied. It's Isabella. There you go. My mother's name is Isabella.
What do you get with a dog and a hot dog?
What?
A cock-a-doodle-doo.
Future stand-up comedy. Huh? That's good. Good job, Isabella. That was super cute. All right, we're gonna tell that tonight. Are you nervous? Are you dying over there, Brendan? And on that note, Brendan Gilkins, everybody!
All right. So most of you will remember me by tonight as the unfunny one. All right. So I have to ask before I start with this first joke. Do we have any magicians in the crowd?
No.
Just making sure. Because I got an unpopular opinion. I don't think magicians should be allowed to vote. I feel like they're going to pull something as soon as they get to the ballot. They're going to take your ballot, put it under a magical, velvety sheet, and then they're going to go, poof, George Bush is president. And you're like, what? I didn't even know George Bush was running. That's a 4-year trick. No, but really, magicians aren't the type of people you want to get angry at you. I feel like tonight I'm going to go to sleep and a tiger's going to pop out of my closet and attack me. And meanwhile, Alexander the Great and Powerful is going to be doing a show on the Strip for his alibi. It's not going to be pretty. But I did try something recently. I actually tried Adderall for the first time.
Oh.
Adderall is, for the people that don't know, because I heard a lot of woos, Adderall is a drug that's supposed to help you focus on doing one thing at a time. This does not help when you're a multitasker. I tried it, and I tried doing 10 things at once. I was like, watch a movie, do my homework, change the light bulb, go to the bathroom, look at porn. Oh, and then I stopped multitasking for about 3 minutes. But who all loves Star Wars? I love Star Wars. But the one thing I love most about Star Wars is the very first film and how much stuff George Lucas got away with. I mean, literally in the first film, he went out into the desert and put a midget in a trash can. It seems like he's been wanting to do this since high school. Like, every scene you see with R2-D2, you gotta wonder what it was like for the guy. Like, all he can do is wobble around in that tiny suit and beep at people like he doesn't know what the fuck anyone's saying. I mean, I wonder if they even gave him a safe word. It's probably that loud woo that he does, the loud woo! Like God, that was not acting. That was a man in real danger. Alright, so I found out recently about something called the refugee diet. Does anyone know about that? No? It's a charity cause where you donate money and they give you rations that the people over at the refugee camp have to eat. And it's a challenge where that's all you can eat. You can only eat what refugees eat. And I wanted to try it, but I had a few hang-ups about the whole thing. I was thinking, like, if I have a burger while I do the refugee diet, does that mean I have to buy a burger for every single refugee that's in America right now? Like, it's kind of like high school rules, you know? If you bring food to class, you gotta bring enough for everyone. I don't think it's cheap. Speaking of diets, I actually got the dreaded question from my vegan friend the other day. The dreaded question that always makes you feel like a complete and total asshole every time you answer it. What she asked me was, Brendan, would you still eat the same food that you eat? If you could talk, if you could feel? Yes. But this stupid question got me thinking. How freaking loud would restaurants be the whole time? Red Robin would be nothing but pure screams. You'd have to honestly think about getting bacon on your cheeseburger because pig screams are terrifying. And don't even get me started on bottomless fries. I've never heard a potato scream, but I do not want a bottomless amount of it. So, I actually found out about a new way you could be buried. It's now you can become a tree. I realized I really want to be an apple tree. Because I want my body to become every single part of that tree. But one specific apple, and that whole apple, is going to be my penis.
What?
And I really want someone to pick that apple right out of the tree, and I really hope it's my vegan friend. And I want to whisper to her. I want to be like, would you eat apples? They could talk. They could feel. Do you know what part of my body? No teeth, please. Alright, that's all I got. Thank you very much.
Feel good! Yay! Ready? Not yet. We have another child coming up here.
Oh.
I'm kidding. No, the child is Chris Rojas.
Pause.
Chris Rojas.
That's not the only thing I'm gonna be turning off today. Alright, so I had a nightmare the other night that I got up here and I couldn't say anything. I couldn't move my lips. I couldn't move my mouth. Let's see how this goes. Okay. So I've been thinking like of the English language and certain phrases we use, certain like little convenient phrases to use in certain situations. Like say like you're like me, you don't have a lot of friends. You're trying to expand your pool of friends. So one good phrase is, did you see the game last night? It doesn't matter if you didn't see the game. It doesn't matter if you did see the game. Doesn't matter if you have DirecTV and you saw all 4 games at once. You still gotta use the phrase. Alright. So, okay. That's the second so that's the last so of tonight. I'm sorry. I used up all my so-ums. Oh man, what do I do? Okay.
Come on.
So I thought of another phrase to use. You know, like you're out with your friends. Those new friends you made with did you see the game last night? You want to go to the club. You know, you have a good time. But you're like me. You're underage looking, or you just forgot your wallet at home. So then the bouncer's like, let me see some ID. and then you're all like, sorry, my dog ate my wallet. Alright, and then so one time I tried to actually use these phrases, see how they work out. So one time I was at a restaurant, having, hacking away at this great meal, this great time. But then the bill came. Oh no. Waiter puts it down. And I'm like, waiter, didn't you hear? My dog ate my wallet. And the waiter's like, you're not going anywhere without paying. Did you see the game last night? All right. Good, okay, I feel good, all right. So I've been thinking about some phrases that are not so good. Sometimes people abuse these great phrases in the English language. The English language, not language. All right, okay, so one phrase, like someone famous, or like your cat dies, someone maybe Prince, or your cat named Prince. When he died, you hop on Facebook, you're all like, I am so sad. Words cannot describe how I feel right now. I am beyond sad. Well, first, if words can't describe, then why are you on Facebook?
Second, if you're beyond sad, then what are you? Happy's beyond sad. Keep using the arms. I'm sorry. All right. So then, because happy's beyond sad. So if you're really sad, if you're beyond sad, then just say I'm super sad. Because, super sad is beyond sad. Because this Superman is beyond mad. So if you're beyond sad, you're super sad. My chest hair didn't quite pop out at the right time. Oh, puberty. So I've been watching the news. I've been following this whole Tom Brady thing. He's got a 4-game suspension. 4-game suspension. I bet he's really gonna miss football. What's he gonna do? His wife's overcooking. Honey, could you pass the salt? Did you say? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm working on my Tom Brady. Okay. Did you say pass the salt? Oh wait. I ain't playing football right now. I'm on a 4-game suspension. Or say he's on the phone with Bill Belichick late at night, and then he's really just pouring his heart out, laying his heart on the line. And then Bill's all like, "All right, I love you, man. I love coaching you. You're a great guy, great quarterback. But I've got a game tomorrow. I've got a backup QB to coach. See you later." All right, and I thought of another Tom Brady. It's not coming to me. Oh man.
Oh man.
I'm gonna think of a Hail Mary Tom Brady joke. Oh jeez. All right. Let's move to the next one, and I might come back to it if I remember it. Okay. So I also kind of wanted to talk about marriage. I heard Sheldon getting a lot of great laughs about marriage.